Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of The Drawing Board. My name is David Franklin, I'm your host. I've been getting a lot of overwhelmingly good responses to this new video style, and I know they're not quite as searchable, so the views haven't been going as high, but I've been getting lots and lots of likes and comments from you guys, and I really appreciate that. And so we're going to go ahead and jump back in, and we're going to be talking about whether or not your feelings matter. From a scientific perspective, of course. That's what we do here. So, do your feelings matter? And I was originally inspired to do this video in response to a book I was reading. The book was talking about asexuality, that is, not being sexually attracted to someone. This isn't like from a biological perspective when you say asexuality, meaning you reproduce all by yourself, a meaning not, sexual meaning sexual. So you are not sexual. You do not feel sexually attracted to anyone or anything. And the book brought up lots of interesting points, and I don't disagree with any of them. From a social perspective, I found it very, very socially minded. However, there was a point of the book that I disagreed with, and I had to check my own disagreement, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it was talking about how, as an asexual person, a lot of people say you should get your hormones checked, because if you're not sexually attracted to someone, that could be because of a hormone imbalance. And this person was talking about how insulting it is to be told that, there's a difference between I was attracted to people for my entire life, and all of a sudden I don't feel sexually attracted to anyone, which would be a hormone imbalance. But knowing I've never been sexually attracted to someone, why would that be a hormone imbalance? That's just who I am as a person. And while I'm not saying that that is a wrong lifestyle, or that every person who is asexual is asexual because of a hormone imbalance, what I am saying is if even 5% of people who thought they were asexual because of a hormone imbalance, because let me say, just because you've felt some way your whole life does not mean it can't be a hormone imbalance. Bipolar people, I have a friend who's bipolar, and you basically live with this your entire life. It's not discovered until later in life, but you live with the effects of it your entire life. And it is, in essence, a psychological and hormonal imbalance. And that's something you can be medicated for. And just because you've been born with it does not mean that you do not function more optimally when you have received a medicine. So I'm not saying if you're out there and you're asexual, feel free to leave comments, by the way. But if you are asexual, and it's not because of a hormone balance, I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm not saying your lifestyle is wrong. But what I am saying is, if for your health, I wanted to say, you know what? You might want to get that checked, because from a scientific perspective, it might be unhealthy to have your hormones in such a way that things aren't working right. Never mind your sexual preference. Just for your general health, your hormones need to be at a certain place. So I was thinking about that. And if scientific data, let's say science came out and said every person who feels asexual, this is a hypothetical, every person who feels asexual must have a hormonal balance. If that's what the data came out and said, do you have a right to be offended by it? And I was thinking about this also, in a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a video on men and women and what each side is attracted to, and in my search I came across an article talking about some of the most common insecurities that women have, and a lot of them had to do with their looks, their age, their sexuality. And from a feminist standpoint, that's horrible. No human being should be judged completely on their outward appearance. It's just not. Is not important enough, and that is a little bit insulting. However, if that's what the scientific data says, do you have a right to be offended? And in my own another one is that I talked about race and how people of Asian descent had an average brain size of 1,380 cubic centimeters, and then people of European or Caucasian descent were somewhere in the middle, and then on the lower end was 1,280 cubic centimeters over 100, or just about 100 cubic centimeters less for people of African descent. And new data is showing that that's not important enough, that the brain size is not the only thing that contributes to intelligence. There's a slight correlation, but not much. But the data was originally saying that brain size would make you more or less intelligent. And yeah, that's insulting to be told you're less intelligent, or you should be valued based on your looks, or that there's something wrong with you because of the way you feel sexually about someone. And that's offensive. That's incredibly offensive. But if that's what the facts say, do you have a right to be offended? And it's easy for me to sit here, all high and mighty, as a straight white male who is heterosexual, and things are looking good for me from a social perspective. Things lean towards me. And so I started thinking about it. I have my own things that I am offended by, that science says about me. For example, men, particularly active men, athletic men, and more successful men, tend to have higher levels of testosterone, and those are great things. However, I'm also told that because of higher levels of testosterone, I am more prone to violence. I am more prone to be aggressive for no reason. I'm more likely to be your rapist because I have a higher level of testosterone. Men are less good in teams. They're less... They do less well than women do. Women usually, there's not as big of a need for I'm in charge and you're on bottom because I'm the alpha. That attitude, that mentality is not there. So for a lot of people, the theory is that as women are getting more and more degrees, and more and more of them are going into the workplace, that women will become the primary breadwinners, or at least the more effective breadwinners, because they can work in a team. It doesn't matter who's on top, who's on bottom. It's not about I'm in charge and you are beneath me and I command you. It's not about that. And I can be offended by that as a man. I can. I'm more likely to rape, kill, or steal. I'm more likely, even when we're talking about me renting a car or having car insurance, I'm more likely, statistically, to get into a car accident because I'm more likely to be showing out. I'm more likely to be aggressive. I'm more likely to be a rapist. I'm more likely to be your murderer. And this has nothing to do with me as a person. This is putting an identity on me. If you get to know me, honestly, and I'm going to be starting a podcast here in a couple of months, just to let you know if you're a regular watcher, going over stories and their morality. Morality is an extremely interesting and an extremely important topic to me, about what is right and what is wrong. And I go over a lot of that in my videos, and I think you see that. I'm getting worked up. And if you get to know me, you wouldn't think those things about me. But statistically, and even when you know me at my moments where I do get more aggressive, and you do see that sort of male ego, male mentality start taking charge, I've never hit someone out of anything but self-defense. I don't know, that's not who I am, but statistically, that's what the scientific evidence says about me. I'm more aggressive. I'm more likely to be your murderer, your rapist, the person who steals from your house, the person who gets into a car accident. I'm more likely to try and dominate you in an office environment, in a military environment, in a political environment. That's who I am with testosterone. And whether or not that's fair, statistically, and with the scientific evidence, that's what it says about me. And I can be offended by that, but do I have a right to be offended? Seriously, first of all, what is offense, and what is a right? And I think I'm going to go over that next week. What is a right? And so if I have rights, does that mean I'm entitled to something? Or does that mean that it is a good thing? It is the right thing to do to give it to me. And I lean more towards that, and I'll get towards that next week. But what does it entitle me to? If I am offended, if this is a bad thing to say about me, does that mean you should hide the results about me? If whether we're talking about hormone checks, whether we're talking about insecurities, whether we're talking about race and the size of brains, whether we're talking about me and my testosterone level, should we hide the results? Should we get hush-hush with the results and not just show them in the news all that much and just continue to study it just a little bit? Should we fudge the results so it doesn't look like that's true at all? Should we basically do the idea of like a scientific recount? Like in politics, you can say, I don't think that's what happened. I want you to recount the vote. Should we basically do that? You should restudy that again, because I don't think that's right. I don't believe that's true. Does it entitle you to a scientist going out there and studying the opposite side, saying, you know what good things are there about testosterone? What good things are there about asexuality and about insecurities and about brain sizes? Why aren't those things likely to be true? I'm not saying that if you're offended by something, that there isn't something intrinsically insulting to you as a person that puts you in a box and tells you who you should be, even if that isn't who you are. Saying that there's something wrong with you, even though you're doing just fine in life. Telling you that you are less than someone, even though you're a perfectly capable and good and decent and intelligent human being. I'm not saying that that should be the sort of thing that you're living with. My question, however, and I'm not even saying, there's no conclusion to this video. The conclusion is just a question, just a hypothetical, philosophical question for you to answer. If there was overwhelming evidence saying that I were more likely to kill you, to rape you, to steal from you, if everyone who's asexual had a hormone imbalance, if one race was more intelligent or less intelligent than another because of the size of their brain, or that all women, the only thing they should care about is their looks. If there was overwhelming evidence to say that, and it's not from a social perspective, that's a natural thing that's inbred in us, is that okay? Do we have a right to be offended? Do we have a right to rebel against our biological destinies? Do we have a right to want to be more than our genetic code? And if we are offended, what does it entitle us to? There's no answer in this video. Nothing but me just asking you a question. And if whatever you think that entitles us to, whether you think it's right or wrong, whether you think it entitles us to fudging the results, hiding the results, burying the results, doing a recount, or doing different tests that test the other side of the spectrum, I'm just offering some scientific perspectives on things, and I'd like to know what you think. So, sorry, I had a little bit of a somber moment there. Let me know. Seriously, I love getting comments from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, like it, share it, so we have more people to go in and give their perspectives on things. I really want to know people's answers on this. I'm sure I'll get, like, for every one good response will be 10 terrible ones, but and people who aren't responding, they'll just be offended. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like and share. Please interact. I want to know what your comments are. Seriously, please let me know. And if you're really liking these videos, please share it with some friends and family members. The more people you let me, or you push these videos towards, the more people we can come in contact with. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. See you guys.